We call this meeting of the Davenport Community School District to order now. President Johansson will not be attending the meeting this evening, so I will be conducting the meeting in his absence. The times listed for each agenda item are suggestions, and we ask that you please try to adhere to them as closely as possible. The times were set by the Agenda Committee in accordance with board members' suggestion for the last meeting. I will provide gentle reminders as we go along to remind us of our times. Director Kluhl, I realize you're just getting started. Did you want to defer your board priorities?
We've got a new board member, student board member here tonight. I was looking for Joseph. I would be glad to read the mission and vision statements.
Okay.
Our
Actually, you have board priorities.
priorities. I'm going to defer to Tabitha.
The Davenport School Board establishes the following priorities to ensure the academic success of all students. Provide leadership and direction to improve the overall learning environment in our classrooms, schools, and district, including the health, safety, security, and happiness of students and staff. Direct and support actions, programs, and activities which reduce the impacts of poverty on our students, their family, and our community.
Director Snyder, would you please read our mission and vision statement?
Sure. Our mission statement reads, to enhance each student's abilities by providing a quality education enriched by our diverse community. And our vision statement reads, education that challenges conventional thinking, prepares all students to compete in a global society, and inspires our students, parents, staff, and the community to answer the question, what if?
Thank you. And we'll do our showcase, and Dr. Tate, would you mind introducing your showcase? Mike Orfatelli, who's principal at Garfield.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Mike, if you want to come up, and thank you very much for coming tonight for our showcase.
Thank you. As I was listening to the board priorities and mission and vision, I hope that you could see how all of that probably melds together with our student showcase tonight. And really, I'd like to focus on significant student achievement and really focusing on our students. And I'm seeing 3 of our students that are here right now, and Sanaya, Owen, and Lemire, if you could come up here, you'll be fine. And maybe you could stand right up next to me because I need a little help and confidence here. Lemire is a kindergartner. Sanaya is one of our second graders, and Owen is one of our first grade students. We had a number of other students that were invited, and you'll be able to see their pictures in some packets that I'm going to ask you to look at as I'm working through some additional information. I'd ask that you just pass the packets around. You can look at the contents, pass the packets around. The first one is kindergarten reading books, and that would be Lemire, and that's some of the books that he's working on right now. This packet, and it describes the information that's inside. Second grade students, if you could take note of where they started and their trend in their graphs, and this would be an example of Sanaya. First grade students, I'll first say that this would be an example of Owen and the work that he did. This is another group or another packet focusing on some of our first grade students. Some ancillary information that talks about word cards, and then an example of how everyone supported, and then there's a math note. I'm going to talk about some of these things as well on the slideshow, but I felt like it was important that you got some of these things in your hands. Inside the packet, for each grade level, shows the students that are featured and their growth and progress in reading from either the beginning of the year, for I know Sanaya and Owen, But for Lemire, it would have started when? December, January, February, around there, because he joined us halfway through the year. When we talk about these significant student achievements, we're talking about not a single person or not just their effort, it's the effort of their parents, and I want to champion the parents for coming as well here today. Parents, I don't know if you just wave your hand. And then we have a number of our kindergarten teachers and first grade reading interventionist. Leah, come on up here. Another one of our kindergarten friends, and this is Leah Jefferson. So Leah, thanks for coming. So as I was mentioning, with our significant student growth, we have the students that are listed in your packet. Their names are up here, and again, 4 of them are standing in front of us right now. And I know that their parents, our teachers, myself, are really proud of the growth that they have made. Just an outstanding group of some of the students who received our most intensive supports throughout the year. They came to us, and these students, we were able to give them what we consider Tier 3 interventions because as we were looking at data, specifically looking at FAST data, our screener, looking at DRA levels, which is Developmental Reading Assessment. It provides a level of reading books or reading that they would currently be on. And then we do that at the very beginning of the year with all of our first graders and all of our second graders, so the teachers also have a good sense of their reading level. In addition to those 2 data points, we look at high-frequency words, the words that we expect kindergartners, first graders, second graders to know. And I have on my arm Owen's, and I'll pass this. Owen's like, oh yeah, I know all the words, but Owen would wear that around, and that's a bracelet that he would wear around. And in one of the packets, we found that some of those can fall off fairly easily, and so they have little packets of information, almost like flashcards, to keep up with that school component, going home as the home component as well. And finally, looking at, again, the FAST, the DRA, high-frequency words. Then we sit down and talk with the teachers as well, saying, who are the ones in your class that you feel need that most intensive support right now? And so we gather those students together, create a plan, and move them to proficiency. And as we're standing up here, I believe we're pretty much there for most of our students at that proficiency level from the beginning of the year to where we're at right now. What do we provide? And this isn't, again, one person. This is a group of teachers. High quality, effective, rigorous, research-based instruction. The home component, there's bags of books that go home that are at their current reading level. There are those high-frequency word cards, differentiating a pace during instructional time that's quick and direct. Authentic opportunities for them for reading and writing. As I mentioned, it's not just one person, it's collaboration with the home, the students, secretaries in our office. One of the packets that you'll see that I think maybe just with Mr. Mayfield here, he's passing on, may have had a picture of how the students go into our office area and read and just enjoy some of that affirmation from our secretaries and other people to continue to increase their motivation with reading. The graphs that you see and the graphs that you're passing around are the students' graphs. Those students are charting their progress, monitoring weekly, and following that chart, you can see those upward trends. And so the students know where they're at. The students also know where they're going. And the students know, hey, what does it take for me to get there? What does it take for my brain to continue to grow, to be a smart reader? And there's a lot of different strategies that are discussed within the reading interventions and in the classroom for those students to understand what it's taking for them to be a better and better reader. Our mission statement at Garfield is about confident learners and leaders. Our work with these students is to make up a year plus, to fill in those holes and gaps and keep them moving. But I'll be honest, what I see our students doing that are in our program or in our Tier 3s or even Tier 2 students is really a love for reading, that they want to grab a book, they want to read a book. They were worried, I know they can read to you right now, I know that, but they were thinking, Ms. Rebecca, I'm not too sure, I would be pretty nervous in having to read. So I'm not asking them to read, but I know that they're accurate. I know they're fluent. I know they're strategic readers that have a great foundation that changes them. It's not a data point, but it's testimonials from family members. It's testimonials from teachers that say they behave different. They act different. They carry themselves different because they're confident in their reading and confident in what they're able to display to their peers and themselves as well. As those are getting passed around, in one of the packages as well is a math note. So yes, this is an example and some primo examples of our reading and the excellence that's going on. But as we're getting to that point in the year, how fortunate were we as Garfield to stand here at the end of the year when all of these screenings and all of these extra summative type tests are going on. And I just wanted to add this in from last Friday. Our math coach wrote that note. It says, just wanted to let you know how amazing your A math results are. And this is going directly towards first graders. This is all because of your hard work and dedication to your students. In all of first grade, there were only 10 students at risk and only 2 of those at high risk. 4 students missed being proficient by 1. 9 of the 10 who were at risk made growth even though they didn't reach the proficiency level. This is wonderful. The kids have learned so much this year and have shown such a great amount of growth. I truly enjoyed walking around and watching how much thought and effort they were putting into answering each question. Most students had a full piece of scratch paper where they were learning. They have, full piece of scratch paper that provided evidence for their learning. They were all using different strategies that had been taught to tackle and solve questions beyond what they had been taught in first grade. Thank you for working so diligently with your students to get them where they are today. It's truly a pleasure to see them and to work with all of you. And that was Shannon Gibbs, our Davenport Schools math coach, that wrote that note to our teachers at the end. Additional student recognition. Some of these students, I'm sure, would recognize these recognitions, and they went around kind of on the outside of one of those packets that talked about locker tags. At the beginning of the year, we thought, how can we also recognize some of the other things that students are doing? And I thought about, in the fall, since it was that fall season, a lot of those football teams have the stickers on their helmets and recognizing for good plays. And so we, in a sense, these are our locker tags or locker stickers. You could see an H that kind of looks like a Superman H or a hero, Captain America. There's a Flash Gordon, and some of our students will be earning a Wonder Woman tag for their locker as well. Those are for missing 0 to 1 days of school during the first quarter, 0 to 2 days during the second quarter, 0 to 4 days during the third quarter, and then 0 to 5 days of school during the final quarter of the year. In addition to those superhero attendance type tags, you see a pile of books on some of those. That's for completing the Lexia program at their grade level. And then there are some that have penguins on their locker, and that's Gigi the Penguin, and that's for completing the ST Math program at their particular grade level. So reflecting on all of it, I think these students, first of all, deserve a huge round of applause for their work this year. As do our teachers and parents that are here as well. Just amazing growth by them. And I feel that those points, as we went over, and I just reflected real quickly as we talked about the board priorities and the mission and vision, I felt like, wow, that's going to fit just perfectly right into that piece. So thank you. And I don't know if you had any questions for me or possibly any of our teachers that are here, parents, or maybe we can squeeze something out of one of our friends up here.
Is there any discussion? Director DeSalvo.
Okay, so you're going to have to tell me your names again. I didn't catch all your names. Owen. Hi, Owen. Sanaya. Lemire. Okay. Hi. Okay, I want to hear from each of you then. What do you like best about the program this year? What you did?
Owen, go ahead.
He's thinking.
What's best?
Mike, using the mic, bring the mic down. There you go. Very low. There you go.
We're going to start with you.
Do you like to read? Did you, yeah, what did you like best?
What did you like best about going to Mrs. H, or sitting in the hallway with the books on the mat, or your word cards, or the books that you took home? What?
Math.
Okay, we have one that, even though we're talking about reading, what'd you say?
Math?
Math.
All right, way to go. Well, I saw some pretty cool books in here that looked like you're making really good progress. I love the charts. Keep up the good work. Keep reading. Keep going because you're doing really good things. Oh, did you have something, Owen, or no?
He's just checking
No.
out his hand.
Okay. Got it. Well, thank you for coming tonight. We're very proud of you guys. Keep up the good work.
Director Clue?
Yeah, this is pretty wild here tonight, guys. Students, what we usually do here in these meetings is we talk about a lot of stuff when we look at like charts and things and numbers, but we don't often get students like you who have excelled in class to come out here in front of us, and this is great to actually see what's happening with you guys. Real proud of you. You know, one of the great things about this is involving the entire Garfield community. Secretaries, teachers, janitors, everybody's involved. And I think one of the neat things about it is that the kids, you guys have been empowered, you guys have been responsible for keeping some of your own scores and seeing how you're doing better. I can tell that this is not computer data, this is not computer written, this was not off a printer. This was something that probably you second, kindergartners and first graders actually did. Did you actually fill out these charts? Some of these colors? You did? I thought so. So that's, I think that's great. I think we're empowering our kids to be involved in their education. So wonderful, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Director Mayfield?
I'm really amazed. Sure is that you're learning. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? The things that you learn about, places you can go, just by knowing how to read. So I applaud what you're doing. It's really great. I'm a terrible speller, so now how do you spell your name? Thank you. Good job.
Okay, it is apparent to see that Garfield is creating confident learners. You guys did an awesome job. Thank you so much, and thank you for all the individuals that help you with that. Now, Dr. Tate, would you like to do the recognition?
Yes, thank you, Madam Vice President. We won the Super Bowl of robotics, and we have a couple of teams that helped us do that, and they're here tonight to tell us a little bit about what they did, and we can meet some of the people involved, both the adults and the students. So I'll ask Jason Fassenberg to please come and start the introductions. And thank you for being here on such short notice.
Thank you very much for having us. My name is Jason Fransberg. I teach at Davenport West High School, and I've got some of our West High staff here, our admin, and a bunch of kids are going to give you a presentation. First off, we would like to start by thanking everyone here for your investment in our programming and the kids. We've accomplished a wonderful feat. We are technically the world champions of robotics here from Davenport West High School. So So it's a great honor and a privilege, and we have responsibility to be gracious professionals and spread the word of first. So I have a little graphic. I want to explain some things. But we would sincerely like to thank Dr. Tate, the board, our administration who's here. Ms. Weipert's been a tremendous leader for us. You can see a lot of our admin supporting us. And I know a lot of teachers couldn't make it with their busy schedules, but we have to really thank West High School in general, because while we get all the sort of credit for this, it takes the whole team to build the kids. So we'd like to thank the staff and all of our sponsors. And just a quick shout out, because I know the kids will thank our mentors, but Ms. DeBerkey and Mr. DeBerkey, please stand up. They've been instrumental in our success, mentoring the kids, teaching them how to be professional. We have engineers from John Deere come in during the daytime, and we're just building our professional base to expose the kids to more professionalism. I'll quit saying now, I hope. To understand, that didn't work, how we got here, we have been doing engineering at West High School for 10 years in Project Lead the Way curriculum. We've been doing robotics for 8 years. So this just doesn't quite happen overnight. And West High School has the Inspire program now, and it's a career pathway approach to education, a project-based approach. And we're taking this to another level in an initiative-based approach. We expect the kids to take initiative for their education. We find exceptionally challenging projects for them to become involved in, and we have confidence in them to do great work, and they've never let us down. They exceed our expectations. So we take a cross-curricular approach in Inspire Capstone, and this year we chose First Robotics FRC Challenge, which is the highest level. This is a high school challenge. To bring our team together. So you'll notice Mr. Brocious and Mr. Slichting, who will talk here in a minute behind me, and Mr. Smith. We took 15 kids from each of one of these classes and combined them to create a startup business, is how we ran it. And we got to teach them all kinds of different lessons. But a capstone is an individual experience where students frame their own work. So they really did a wonderful job this year. The name of our team was Disruptive Innovation, Team 6317, and that is a term coined by a Harvard professor about basically coming into a market at a very low level and sort of taking over that market. It could be services, it could be products. We think it's education, the way that we're doing this. So our name is Disruptive Innovation. From Davenport West High School, and our FRC team was a rookie all-star at the World Championships. So that is getting overshadowed a touch by the World Championship title, but we actually had 2 world champions. So our FRC team was a rookie all-star at the World Championship, one of 6 teams. And we had 45 kids, 45 to 60 kids in that class. On the engineering side, we focus on robot design, strategy, design process, engineering notebook, project management, using the agile methodology, or just a few things that we focus on, communication plans, and different things. So I'm going to let Mr. Brocious talk about what the contributions that computer science made and the rest of the folks. So thanks again for having us.
Hello, my name's John Brocious. I teach computer science classes at Davenport West. Some of the projects that we tackled first was trying to understand the system dynamics of how the robot worked. Little did I realize that the same brain that the robot uses is also the model what they use for Tesla on all their vehicles. So in order to understand, we had to tackle that issue, figure out how to make the system run, and then from there they had to actually build the robot. And then we could actually okay, this is what it's going to do. This is what you want it to do. We had to communicate with the engineers. How do you want this to move? What is it supposed to do? Then we moved on to building a website from scratch. The kids built their own template. It made the whole thing from scratch. Then we had to create an inventory program where we tried to design a way to keep track of all the parts. And then we made a scouting report, so then as students were watching these contests, they could see what teams would be best suited for us to work with in the future, and then talk to other teams on what they would do. So it was a real joint effort, lots of communications. The kids had to get in meetings, schedule meetings with their partners in the other classes, and work through problems that they had never had to before. So with that, I'll hand it over to Mr. Slichting.
Good evening. I'm Mark Slichting. I'm a business teacher at Davenport West. I'm in charge of the business capstone side of Inspire. I'll make this short and sweet because we've got a bowling league here in about 2 minutes. That's why I bought the shirt. That's the only reason. It's okay to laugh, right? Basically, this is my bread and butter, the business plan. It's like my playbook. That's why I'm carrying it with me right now. You never know. Got ideas going. So our kids did the business plan, logo design, pit design. We helped out with the managing the grants. A lot of social media as far as advertising. We made a commercial. It's up in the school on the websites. And we started a 501c3 for our STEM boosters. And basically anything involved with collaborating with the other teams. Every day was different. Every day was peaks and valleys. We had to take the initiative, get better. And that's what was the great thing about it. It's real life. It's not just sitting there listening, opening a book. It's project-based, and the kids really got involved with it. They took ownership. They did a great job. Thank you.
Greg Smith. I teach Project Lead the Way and lead the Advanced Manufacturing Program at West High School. I'm going to talk a little bit about our robot sub-assemblies. And so our students designed different sub-assemblies to go on the robot so we could easily remove them. We did some welding, and then we also made custom CNC parts on our new Haas CNC machine. And then my group of students also worked with the field construction, and so they built from a set of plans the field components that were used to practice before our robot was packed and shipped up. So that was FRC. I'm going to transition now to a little bit about the programs of FIRST. And so at West High School, we are involved in all 4 programs of FIRST. We have FLL Junior, which we facilitate out of West High School and Wilson. It's facilitated by myself and Michelle Hemming. We also assist with FLL, which is done at Walcott, Bluegrass, and Wilson. And then we have 2 FTC teams, the Combustible Lemons and the Mortal Kombats. So this year there was 5,540 FTC teams in the world. 128 teams made it to the World Championships in St. Louis. West High School's 2 teams both advanced beyond the state level. The Mortal Kombats, team 10547, is a second-year team that competed very well throughout the season and won the Think Award at the Iowa State Championship. The Think Award advanced the Mortal Kombats to the to the North Super Regional at the beginning of April. The Combustible Lemons advanced when they won the Motivate Award at the North Super Regional to the World Championship. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Woody Flowers, who introduced the award to the Combustible Lemons. And so the Inspire Award is given to a team that the judges felt fully embodied the challenge of the FTC program. The team that received this award is a strong ambassador for the FIRST programs and works to promote FIRST and to make it loud in their community. The team that receives this award has performed well in all judging categories and was chosen by the judges as a model FIRST Tech Challenge team on and off the playing field. The judges used team interviews, match observations, and the team's engineering notebook to determine the winner of this award. This cohesive and confident team eloquently conveys their passion to grow the FIRST community both locally and abroad. Their hearts extend beyond STEM, inspiring others to act, creating care packages for the local homeless and establishing robotics curriculum for schools around the world. As a well-organized team, they started and mentored FIRST teams at all levels, including an FRC team that made it to Worlds. For igniting and inspired connections on and off the field, the Combustible Lemons, Team 5466,
are the 2017 FTC Inspire Award winners. So we are going to have our students give their presentation that they gave to the judges. Yes, come on.
Hello, we are the Combustible Woman from Davenport West. I'm Michael Franks, builder.
Being the owner, project manager, we have 5 goals outlined in our business plan. First, being to help Epdm develop using project-based learning. Our second goal is to build and design a competitive robot. Our third goal is to be involved in all levels of FIRST, including starting in a varsity team. Our fourth goal is to constantly engage and seek mentors in our community. And our fifth goal is to be such good friends, we're like their family as opposed to a robotics team. I'm Quincy Roberts. I do outreach, but today I'm going to talk to you about our friends here in the field and our mentors. So we are lucky to have mentors from all fields of STEAM, including scientists, machinists, engineers, art teachers, and mathematicians. I want to give a shout out to the Robertses again. They do lots of, they help us in lots of ways. Again, continuing to make us even more gracious and more professional. So during each match, we score 160 points. So there are 3 stages to each match. So in autonomous, which is when the drivers cannot actually drive the robot, we score 90 points, and so they push 2 beacons, which change colors depending on what button you push, and they score 2 particles in the center vortex, which is really simple balls. During teleop, they score 10 of those particles in the center vortex, which is 50 points. During endgame, they push another 2 of those. I'm going to Leslie, a CAD driver, and CAD is a great aid design, which is basically using code online socially. This is our robot here. We use CAD to help design a robot and catch problems early on in the process. So for example, our picture sheet is a wired demo robot. We use CAD to help figure out different solutions that kind of best one that would be able to use to still use it. Those are users will help here all 3 different parts that we use on the robot anytime. What's the proficiency builder? We use mathematical. After CAD, we use mathematical models to work through the design process. An example of this is seen on our picture. We need to calculate the rotations per minute. We use fields down here to launch the particle into the center vortex while remaining under the 6 limit. We also use the design process to work through different iterations of various assemblies on our robot, such as our armor. Our robot has an 8-hinge multi-plate chalkboard armor, and the hinges in the multi-plates allow for vertical access to 4 parts of our robot, such as our battery and our wheel. The reason we have this armor is if in-game, if you have an opposite alliance's particle stuck in your robot, you get a major penalty and then a minor penalty of 35 seconds to remove your robot. Our armor allows us to remain competitive.
I'm Brandon Richards, the programming lead, and so during those first 30 seconds of the game, that's autonomous, where it's we're not allowed to touch the controllers, but the robot has to move on pre-programmed instructions. And so we use sensors during that to kind of gather data, like on the field, so our robot knows where it is and what it's doing. So something we use are encoder wires, which allow us to know how far we can go forwards or backwards on our motors, so we can drive a certain distance. We use a gyro sensor so we can tell our orientation of our robot, so we know if we need to turn, how far we need to turn. I also use a color sensor to detect the color of the beacon, which is the device that we press, and
third section, which is our engineering section, is where we input our day-to-day activities. So everyone will input what they've done throughout the season. So one day someone might build, I don't know, part of the robot. They'll document what they built, how they built it, and they'll show that in the engineering section. And then the final section, which is our business plans, shows all of our curriculum for Kenya, our Gantt charts, our scheduling, and our budget.
What was our biggest program investment in which we talked about our outreach? Our outreach is divided up in between two main sections. So we have community service and we have seasonal development. On the community service side, something that we do is every Sunday we visit the Bluegrass Fire Station, and there we help them clean up around the station or we help them with any paperwork that they need. A project that we've done as part of community service is we actually help a care package drive. So we found out that West had the highest homelessness population in all of Iowa. We really wanted to help. So we collected necessary items, we packaged them up, and then we donated them to those students through our council. On the on the STEM promotion side, we still like to stay heavily involved in our community. So we hold demos at our feeder schools. We also hold demos to our sponsors and to local businesses around us. It really helps give everybody an insight to what we do. We've held two main outreach events this year. One of them has been starting in FRCT Minor School. Our coaches really wanted to impact more people first and how they go through robotics with them. So okay. So what it is we have an Inspire program at Davenport West High School that has 5 career pathways: engineering, advanced manufacturing, computer science, business, and we're adding on health science soon. So they'll go through this program, taking all the classes, learning the background knowledge, and then once they get to these capstones, they actually all work together to form the FRC team, which is actually competed at the World Championship. Additionally, though, we have the Kenya Initiative. The Lemons have been working with the NXU Repurpose Project for a couple of years now, but we really wanted to take it to the next level. So we had a group from Colorado contact us and invite us over to Kenya over the summer. So we eagerly agreed. We had to fundraise about $30,000 for this trip because it was expensive. We did this by writing grants, receiving aid from local businesses, and doing some of our own fundraising. So a couple ways we fundraised. We held a local trivia night where we invited the community through our news stations and newspapers, and we had a big turnout, and that was really successful, so we're proud of that. We also do what is called flamingo flocking. So people will pay us to put flamingos in their friends or family's yard, and it's fun for everyone because the community gets to mess with their friends and family, and we get to have team bonding. We actually did a cop's house at 2 in the morning once. That was pretty fun. We didn't get caught, so that was great. However, fundraising is not the only way we prepared for Kenya. We also had to write curriculum because after we leave, we wanted to make sure the teachers could still use the kits we're donating and still teach what we were teaching them. So we ended up writing about 17 different activities that ranged from simple machines to solar energy, and we handed them out at a teacher seminar that we held in Kenya.
Noah Douglas, project manager. Like Haley mentioned, we were able to take the Kenya initiative to the next level this last summer by actually traveling to Kenya. While we were there, we impacted approximately 1,000 students and hundreds of teachers. But I just also wanted to take a moment to kind of discuss with you guys what the Kenya trip meant for me on a more personal level. My dream job in life
Director DeSalvo.
I'm curious, what grade are you all in? I know.
So I'm a senior. I'm a sophomore.
I'm a freshman. I'm a sophomore. Senior.
Freshman. Sophomore. Sophomore.
Great mix. So, I tell you, I have a day job. I have to work, unfortunately. We didn't get, what year are you? Got it. Thank you. So I can tell you, hearing you speak and hearing what you've done, not only with your project, but outside of school, traveling to Kenya, hearing all that you did there and inspiring them, people that I work with that have been, and myself included, couldn't speak to what you've done here tonight. So, and what you've done over these years. So, it's amazing, and you're going to be successful. I know it at whatever you do. And I want every one of you to promise us that you're going to let us know where you go, what you do, especially you seniors. Some of you I had seen over the years, but I want to follow you. I know that somebody went to Cal Poly, I thought, and I know that you have kids that are students, friends you've worked with that have been very successful. I saw a presentation a couple years ago with the band for the heat in the cars. And University of Iowa was there as you guys presented. And I watched this woman watch you, and she was so impressed with what you were doing that day. And everybody was like, get a patent now. I mean, so that's really remarkable things you're doing. You're making a difference in this world. And I'm extremely proud to be a part of it and to be able to see it. So keep following your dreams, keep doing great things, because you really are making a difference. So thank you.
Director Clue.
World champions. Wow. All the work that's gone into this from you and your instructors. What I'm thinking about is that this is a very academic program. You're bringing different academic aspects of your schooling into this, but this thing with the graciousness and the humility that you have for having won a world championship, recognizing the lemons, and that's impressive to me. Tell me about the goals that you have. The goals, do you come up with new goals then every year? A new group of students will come up with a new set of goals.
So at the beginning of the year, we kind of sit down as a team and we figure out what our focuses want to be, how we want to score on the robot, also what we want to do with outreach, and we kind of prioritize them too. So in our business plan that we actually turn into the judges, it has our 5 goals, and it has, at the top it has what we want to do, and then a paragraph on how we're going to do it and why we want to do it, and then a last sentence kind of says how we actually did it. So the Kenya one came in because all of us are very passionate about the international outreach side of it. Even our new members who weren't a part of it last year, they came in and hit the ground running, ready to help with it. We also want to build a competitive robot because we don't want to get beat because we're all competitive. And then working with all levels of first, that's another goal that's important to us because we want to not only be successful now, but in our future years, we want our team to continue being successful. And that starts with the younger generations and helping the kids that are just now getting into kindergarten or preschool and helping them get through this program so that when they get to West, they want to join our team and be 11. So, and then we're also very passionate about our mentors because Mr. and Mrs. DeBerkey are at every meeting. They're always working with us. So we're as good as they are. We always want more because the more help we can get, the better. Because that's more outside influence on the professional community teaching us how it's going to be in the real world and how we can start learning how to do it now. And then being a family is kind of important to us because it's hard to be successful as a team if you don't get along. So we really push that getting along, and it turns out all of us became like best friends anyway, so we're good on that one.
Well, there was a guy who did a lecture years ago. He had cancer, and he did a lecture called The Last Lecture. And I don't know if any of you have seen that, but he had this term he used called a head fake. A lot of the stuff that appeared that he was trying to do was secondary. it's almost like the robots are secondary to everything else that you have learned. I mean, just the fine tuning that you've done with this and thinking about it made, what I thought of specifically was when you talked about sustainability, in Kenya, that you didn't just go and drop this off on them and say, well, okay, it was fun, we're gone. But you trained those teachers. I'm wondering about materials, though. What will they do for materials over there in Kenya?
So a big part of what we've been doing with the NXT or Purpose Project in Kenya over the past few years, we've, from the first Lego League branch of FIRST, they have this base kit that Lego Robotics compete with. And there had been a switch a few years ago in FLL to a different control system. So we kind of came up with an idea as a team that we, instead of these teams putting those old systems on the shelves, seeing if they would donate them to us, and we were using those to not only go to Kenya, but we were also sending dozens of kids to countries like Ghana and Serbia also. So that's that's how we got the parts over to Kenya. And then when we were going, that was kind of like hands-on, working with them and training them to use them for future years.
Thank you all. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful.
Anyone else? I am in awe, total awe. It's amazing. I'm not familiar with this type of thing at all, and just to hear you articulate it, and I'm just in total awe. A couple things I had. It's a really impressive honor. Did I understand you to say that you were number one in like 500 and some teams? 5,000. I am, but who's counting, right? That is amazing. Now, is this the entire team, or how many do you have in your entitled team?
Total, we have 14 students on our team. A couple of them had to miss tonight because Strider's dead. That's what he said. And then we have some people who actually had work because we're used to meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so they have work.
One thing that I noticed was really impressive with you, Kaylee, you had mentioned the unity, basically, that your family, you didn't refer to them as teammates, your family. And I think that unity may be why you all are so successful, because that's very, very important. Any additional questions, Dr. Tate?
Eat your heart out, Bettendorf. PV, every district in Iowa, the Midwest, the West Coast, the East Coast, everywhere. You did it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and congratulations again.
We have a couple things to add. So, it's okay. So, with winning the Inspire Award, we will be invited to New Hampshire for the Festival of Champions in July, and so the teams that are essentially the winners at the contest are going to be invited to the first headquarters, and then be invited to a dinner at Dean Kamen's home.
Wow.
And then on August 4th, we're planning on throwing out the first pitch at the River Bandits game with our robot. And so
Oh.
we are waiting for the robot to be shipped back from St. Louis.
So you're programming him to throw the pitch?
We're going to make a couple modifications and then some programming changes maybe.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. You'll have to keep us up to date on how you're doing and what you're doing. I'm impressed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, update from student board members. Dr. Tate?
Thank you, Madam Vice President. So, AJ, would you like to start?
Oh, yeah.
Central report.
Just give me 1 second here. All right. That was a fantastic presentation, by the way. They said so many words that I had no idea what they even meant, but it sounded good. So, Central helped host the Village in Bloom Festival last Saturday. I was there personally for 9 hours as part of Central's National Honor Society, from setup at 7 a.m. to teardown at 4 p.m. And it was an incredible experience to see all of the talent and fun hidden in such a small community as the East Village. Elementary and middle school students from across the city demonstrated their musical and artistic talent early on by performing a number of their favorite songs, including, I think, one from Adele. One of our local dance troupes, I forgot their name, but they performed their hip-hop dance routines with performers ranging from 6th grade to high school age students, and many other fun and interesting activities were offered, allowing our students to show off their skills and talents in the arts. In addition, I would like to congratulate one of our recent, Quad City Arts Award recipients, 7 of which are students who won awards including Juror's Choice Award for Artistic Excellence, the Judy Heath Award for Artistic Merit, and the Don Hagen Memorial Award for Excellence in Watercolor. And these were for entries in arts such as clay work, photography, acrylic paintings, sculptures, and drawings. A big congratulations also goes out to Mrs. Ott, who received 2nd place honors in the Teachers Division for her fabulous wall sculpture entitled Protection. These fantastic artworks and many more exceptional works by the Quad City students were on display at the Quad Cities Art Gallery in Rock Island through May 5th. On the sports side, Davenport Central's Kevin Kurth took 2nd place at the Drake Relays track meet, where college and high school track athletes competed alongside each other in order to take bronze, silver, and gold medals home. Kevin will move on to compete for the Army's track and field program at West Point next fall. In addition, the $12,000 Brand Bouchard scholarship, sponsored by the Figge Art Museum, is awarded to 4 seniors in the eastern Iowa and western Illinois area. And this year, 2 of the 4 $12,000 scholarships were awarded to Central and Creative Arts Academy students, Emily Beck and Janice Maddox, both of which are seniors. To be considered, they completed an application process, including transcripts, 2 support letters, and a 12-piece portfolio full of all their past works. In addition, Carly Westmoreland and Tiago Marquez earned $500 honorable mention scholarships. Finally, Central High students and staff participated in the Youth Uplift Challenge by making artwork hands, for each of which the Bezos Family Foundation donated $1.90 to the Save the Children's program. Under Ms. Henniger's guidance, TAG students are ready to send in 1,120 pieces of paper cutout hands that have been decorated. So that's really amazing, which will equal to $2,128 for Save the Children.
All right, so for North, Mackenzie O'Brien came in 3rd place today with the MAC Tournament Championships for golf. Steven Schroeder was selected for a major art award as an honorable mention for the Photographic Society of American Youth Showcase. And then on Wednesday, May 17th, the North will be hosting the 13th annual Wildcat Run, Walk, Stumble, and Crawl. Basically you run around the block, you jog however you want. Sports, clubs, faculty, students will be participating. It's recommended for $5 or more donations from each participant, and the community members are invited to participate, where all proceeds go to the Yellow Ribbon Suicide Prevention, and each year the cause changes. So last year it was for a student, 2 years ago it was for a teacher that had some medical needs. And then also on Friday this week, National Honor Society will be going to Truman to have a fun day event with the special needs program. We're going to be working outside, doing some relays, some painting, just trying to get involved and work with them so they have some sort of community outreach.
2 weekends ago at the Drake Relays, the North boys participated in the 4x2 and the 4x1, placing 4th in the 4x2 and 2nd in the 4x1. with an overall and 6th for the men's. Both band and orchestra competed in state this weekend in Bettendorf and received a #1 rating, which is the highest. Our culinary arts club will be serving dinner to the Optimist clubs at their annual spaghetti dinner this coming Sunday. The senior dual enrollment students from North will be graduating from Scott and will be having the graduation ceremony Monday, May 15th. Also, the boys tennis coach, Coach Hall, received the MAC Coach Award of the Year.
At West, we had senior Amber Long finish 10th out of 48 at the DeWitt Invitational for golf. We also had Courtney Schaefer and Caitlin Cox, who got first place in the Iowa Junior Duck Stamp Art Contest. Mr. Wolf, one of our teachers, wrote a grant and received almost $5,000 so he could redo a digital studio. Glenn Nosa, Kayla Clayton, and Chase Thompson got 3rd out of 22 teams in the Hawkeye Challenge programming competition. We also have charity this week. So tonight we have dodgeball, and then Tuesday is lip sync battle. Thursday we have our staff versus student basketball game, and then Friday is our variety show at 6:30, and we're having a silent auction there. Monday, May 15th is our seniors honor ceremony at 7. We have 4 students who got invited to the Lloyd Jones residency for versatile writing at the University of Iowa. IJAG brought home 3 medals from the Career Development Conference in Des Moines. Emma Bernick had her newspaper article picked out by journalists, and it was published on Best of SNL. And then we competed at Worlds. And that's all.
Thank you. I had a long list of things I was going to announce tonight, and you got almost every one of them. There's only one, so nice job.
Thank you so much for that. Any board reports?
I just have one.
Director DeSalvo?
I would just like to acknowledge our very own A.J. Smith. We got to travel to Des Moines a week ago, where he was one of the recipients of the Governor's Scholar Award. There were 420 kids there. It was like a graduation of 420 kids, but it was quite an honor to see the kids there. So congratulations, A.J.
I'd just like to say Mr. Anthony DeSalvo was there as well. So congratulations to him, too.
Any other board reports? Director Kluhl?
Truman Elementary held a leadership day last week, and it was very impressive. Just a whole bunch of leaders there, a whole bunch of little leaders. Big leaders were there, Frank Klipsch, Mayor Klipsch, a couple council members. And it was interesting to think that, that Covey's 7 principles have filtered all the way down to an elementary school. Everybody had to give their favorite leadership principle during the day. Mine was simply to begin with the end in mind. Think what a difference that makes about how you make decisions if you begin with the end in mind. So it was a great day at Truman.
Thank you for that. Any others? Well, I have a couple here. I asked that the student board members to please review the memos with you right at your tables there. Next week at the regular, or I'm sorry, on the 22nd at our regular board meeting, the student will be the student board members' last meeting. There will be a reception in your honor at 5:30 prior to the meeting. Family and friends are invited, and please RSVP to Mary, our board secretary, and let her know how many will be attending. In addition to the reception, the board will recognize the student board and present certificates. The board also invites any of the student board members to make a presentation at the meeting. This can be an individual or a group project and can be on whatever topic you feel is relevant for the board to hear. Advice, what you've learned, whatever you would like to share. And please also email that to Mary as well if you plan on presenting. Director Kluhl, Director Snyder and myself, we attended the community conversation last week at the 180 zone, and that was very informative. That was actually a nice meeting to get out and hear some of the ideas that the public had to offer. One day last week, I also was able to attend North, a 7 a.m. meeting and breakfast for the junior ROTC, which was really nice, and got to see Dr. Tate all dressed up in his colonel outfit, and it was just really a nice presentation. Again today, my JA students, they were very well behaved today, and it was actually a fun session. Everyone interacted, they listened, but it's still a challenge trying to keep them. I had to bribe them and let them know, well, if I can say something and somebody can answer, next week we'll bring a grab bag for you to pick something out, and that seemed to capture their attention, so I was able to have them hear me today, which usually doesn't happen. Everybody's talking at the same time. So that is my report. Director DeSalvo, would you please read the communications and upcoming events?
I will, and boy, there's a lot going on. May 10th, Wednesday at 5:15, there will be a policy meeting here in the ASC in the Executive Boardroom. May 15th, Monday at 6 p.m., graduation from Scott Community College for 37 dual enrollment students, one being our two over there, Marissa and Tabby, will be graduating there at the iWireless Center. May 16th, Tuesday at 5:30 p.m., there will be an LCAC meeting here in the Jim Hester Boardroom. May 17th, Wednesday from 2 to 6, the Student Built Open House at 1236 West 63rd Street, Davenport, and the Creative Arts Academy Spring Gala Figge Arts Museum. What? I think I read that right. Okay. Monday, May 22nd, 5:30 p.m. As we said, there will be a reception here for our student board members, and then at 6 p.m. the regular meeting here in the boardroom as well. May 24th, Wednesday at 1:30, there will be at the Central High School ribbon cutting and open house at Central High School, of course. May 29th is the Memorial Day holiday, closed for that day. May 31st, Wednesday at 7 p.m., Mid-City graduation at Galvin Fine Arts Center at St. Ambrose in Davenport. June 4th, Sunday, graduation at the iWireless Center. Central will be at 11, North at 1:30, West at 4. June 5th, Monday at 5:30, Committee of the Whole meeting here in the Jim Hester Boardroom. June 6th, Tuesday at 3 p.m., Legislative Advocacy Committee meeting here in the Executive Boardroom. June 7th, Wednesday at 5:15 p.m., a policy meeting here in the Executive Boardroom. June 9th, summer hours begin. The district will be closed on Fridays until August the 4th. June 12th, regular board meeting here at 6 p.m. in the Jim Hester Boardroom. And June 26th, regular board meeting here at 6 p.m. in the Jim Hester Boardroom.
Thank you so much for that, Director DeSalvo. Now we'll move on to open forum. Open forum is a time for members of the community to give input at a board meeting regarding school district issues or concerns. Individuals who want to speak should fill out an open forum request and give it to the board secretary prior to open forum. The board will not act on any issues presented during open forum. It's not published as an agenda item. The Iowa Open Meeting Law prohibits action on any issues that is not on the agenda. The president will set forth the time allowed for individuals to speak during the open forum. The board asks that no changes or complaints be made, charges or complaints be made against the individual employees of the district or community during open forum. Remarks that affect negatively on the character or motives of any person will be called out of order. And there are no open forum requests for today. We'll move on to the consent agenda. May I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Madam Vice President,
Director Snyder.
I move that the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and Seconded. Is there any discussion? Director Snyder?
Yes.
Director Kluhl?
Yes.
Director DeSalvo?
Yes.
Director Mayfield?
Yes.
Director Gosa is not here. And my vote is yes. The motion passes. Now approval of bills.
Madam Vice President,
Director Kluhl.
I move that the board approve the following resolution regarding the adoption of bills. Resolution is as follows. Resolved that all claims presented to the board, having been duly certified as correct by the secretary, reviewed by the administration and board members, and they are hereby audited and allowed as just claims and warrants drawn on the treasury for the several amounts. Further resolved, the payments of claims and salaries be approved as presented for the periods of April 20th, 2017 through May 3rd, 2017.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's moved by Director Kluhl and second by Director DeSalvo. Is there any discussion? Seeing as there's none, we'll call for the vote. Director Kluhl?
Yes.
Director DeSalvo?
Yes.
Director Snyder?
Yes.
Director Mayfield?
Yes.
Director Gosa and Director Johansson are absent, and my vote is yes. The approval has been, the bills have been approved. Approve the banking system. May I have a motion?
Superintendent's report.
I'm sorry. The superintendent's report, please, Dr. Tate.
I don't have much, but I was thinking about the grab bag. Maybe you could bring it to board meetings. If we finish by 7:30, each of the directors could pull some out of the grab bag. Yeah.
That would be an idea.
The only one that the student reports missed was one from Mid-City High. Daniel Wadden's work on the school's urban farm so impressed Deere and Company, they're giving him a full scholarship to Northeast Iowa Community College. And once he finishes his diesel mechanic education, he will have a job at Deere. So that's really great news. I wanted to let everyone know that beginning in the 1st July that Paul Flynn will be our part-time athletic director for the district. So he has a lot of background in it, and he knows someone that can help him in case he gets stuck in any problems. So just want to at least let you know that.
That's awesome.
So I'm not sure if you paid a lot of attention to the way that United Way is dispersing their money this year. It's called a community impact and their grants. And everybody was invited to put in grants, and there's a lot of changes from the way that it's normally done. But we were looked on very favorably, and we have, through our grants, we'll be earning $224,000 per year for 3 years. And those will be for our diversion program to help us there, our attendance program, and our elementary reading academy. So I feel very privileged we did that. We're very lucky to have an expert grant writer and Mrs. Steiner, so we really appreciate that. But that's great news, and that's going to help us to continue to move forward. And that's my report for tonight.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, moving along to items requiring action. For the approval of banking service, may I have a motion?
Madam Vice President,
Director Snyder?
I move that the board accept the administration's recommendation and approve the proposal submitted by Quad City Bank and Trust to provide banking services for fiscal year 18 through fiscal year 20 as presented.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Director Kluhl, did you second?
I did.
Thank you. We'll call for the vote. Director Snyder?
Yes.
Director Kluhl?
Yes.
Director DeSalvo?
Yes.
Director Mayfield?
Yes.
Director Gosa and Johansson are absent, and my vote is yes. Motion passed. May I have a motion to approve the change order? For Russell Construction.
Madam Vice President,
Director DeSalvo.
I move that the board accept the administration's recommendation to approve the Russell Construction change order number 4 for the central pool and auditorium and other renovations projects in the amount of $254,000.
Thank you for that. A second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. May I call for the vote? Or any discussion? Thank you. May I call for the vote? Director DeSalvo?
Yes.
Director Snyder?
Yes.
Director Kluhl?
Yes.
Director Mayfield? And my vote is yes. Motion pass. May I have a motion for the approval of the change order for Shive Hattery for $70,000?
Madam Vice President,
Director Kluhl?
I move that the board approve the change order to Shive Hattery Incorporated in the amount of $70,000 for additional design fees for the Sudlow Secure Entry project.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Seeing there is none, we'll call for the vote. Director Kluhl?
Yes.
Director DeSalvo?
Yes.
Director Snyder?
Yes.
Director Mayfield? And my vote is yes. Motion passes. May I have a motion for approval of the EPDM partial roof replacement?
Madam Vice President,
Director Snyder?
I move that the board approve administration's recommendation to approve the lowest responsible and responsive bid from Jim Geese Commercial in the amount of $1,459,561 for the re-roofing projects at Adams, Williams, and West.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any discussion? Seeing there is none, we'll call for the vote. Director Snyder?
Yes.
Director Kluhl?
Yes.
Director DeSalvo?
Yes.
Director Mayfield? And my vote is yes. Motion pass. I have a motion for the approval of the policies. Policy number 401.49, 100.00, 103.03, 103.06, 102.02.
Madam Vice President,
Director Snyder?
I move that the board approve the policy committee's recommendation and approve the following policies: 401.49, violence in the workplace; 100.00, district philosophy; 103.03, gifts to school personnel; 103.06, public performances and contests by students; 102.02, board advisory committees.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing Director Snyder?
These are ones that, policies we had talked about at the last meeting, and none of these 5 have any recommended changes.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll call for the vote. Director Snyder?
Yes.
Director Kluhl?
Yes.
Director DeSalvo?
Yes.
Director Mayfield? And my vote is yes. Motion passes. Moving on to discussion items. And I'll turn this over to Director DeSalvo and Director Snyder.
Clearly, we're prepared. Well, I think, at the committee of the whole meeting last week, President Johansson asked about the dual enrollment program, and he said, does anybody know any kids in that program? I'm like, well, 2 of our student school board members is, and someone very near to me is as well. And he said, boy, what are we going to do for acknowledging what these kids have done? And this is the first group through. And he had run into someone outside of here that was another student in the program. And a parent came up and thanked him for what the district had provided to her family and her son. And so he said, well, what are we going to do? And I said, I don't know. We got to do something. So we started talking a little bit. I know that I contacted the Quad City Times, and she's interviewing one of the students, Brendan. I will kill his last name if I try to say it, but Goldis. He was in the paper this weekend too. So I spoke with her. So I think they're going to run a story. And I know that Ralph was talking about getting hold of the TV stations too, because I'll go on my tangent as a parent and what it kind of meant to us in that this is the first group through in this program, and you guys led the way on this, but I can tell you that this is a big deal for the Davenport Community Schools, because there's not another school district in the state of Iowa that offers this program. And state schools tuition is about $40,000 a year. And we just got 2 years of education for no extra cost. And that's a really, really big deal. So any parent out there reading these minutes or picking this up in the Times or in the media, they need to bring their kids to Davenport Community Schools, because this isn't offered anywhere else. And I told some of my board members here that my church board minutes, I'm on that board too, Assumption was inquiring about a program like this. And I know that North Scott has contacted Principal Chelf, and there's many schools that want to be able to do this, but right now there's only one. And I really think we need to make a big deal about what these kids have accomplished and what it's done for them going forward, and what it's done for the Davenport Community Schools, because this doesn't happen anywhere else. So we're going to try to get, I think maybe if we can corral you guys, it's like herding cats, because they're all so busy in addition to school right now. But trying to get some sort of maybe a cake and coffee function with parents and students or something we would like to do. But Mr. Director Snyder, would you like to add to my?
The only thing I would like to add is I want to make sure everyone's aware, next Monday, I think Marissa said it, as well as it was in our upcoming events, but next Monday at 6:00 p.m. at the iWireless Center, we're going to have our 37 dual graduates who will be walking across the stage to receive their diplomas right along with the other Scott Community College graduates. So it's a big day for these kids and a big day for the Davenport schools, and I hope everybody can be there to support them.
Director Mayfield.
I turn it on. First of all, I'd like to congratulate just the Davenport schools for this accomplishment of being able to set up a scenario where we have kids that can get dual credit. I think that is so important. You know, sort of a hidden secret is that all of our schools, that students in our schools can get college credit. Not quite set up like North. So I'd like to celebrate this, but I think we need to come back to this as a board, because not only is it very unique, but it's beneficial to our students and community. And we have, I was going to say 2 other high schools, but actually now we have 3 with Mid-City. And I know the parents at those schools would love for their child to have the same type of program in their schools. Now, it's always said when this is brought up that any of them can go to North. Well, I think the students at North want to go and be at North. I think the students at West want to go and be at West. And I think that's the same factor when it comes to central or mid-city. So with that in mind, we have to find a way for all students to have this opportunity and do it in the place that they've chose for a high school. That in no way should minimize what has been achieved with this first group that's gone through. I think what they've been able to do is show that it is possible. Not only can be done, but should be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Tabby?
Okay, so I'm actually one of the students who transferred from West into North. Personally, North was the best environment to have this dual enrollment program possible. It's one of the smaller schools, closer to the faculties, to the students. I know these 36 other students really well. I see them every single day. We're in clubs together. It's like constant them. But see, I don't think most of us would have been where we're at if it was in a bigger high school either. So, like, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but this school, probably one of the best decisions I ever had to transfer to. And it was a real tough decision to do so, but I don't think I would be going where I am now or in the clubs too, or being in Student Senate, National Honor Society, anything like that if it wasn't for the dual enrollment or for the school environment that it was in.
I'm really glad it works for you. Good job.
Were you going to say something, Marissa?
I mean, it's one of the special things that North has. We don't have the Inspire or a huge, I don't think we even have a STEM program. So I think if we're going to integrate it to that, so all of the other schools, I think you need to start moving some things also to North. Because I would have considered taking other classes at other schools to be able to get those if I wasn't in the dual enrollment program.
Okay, thank you. Any additional discussion? Administrative reports?
None, Madam Vice President.
No board requests? I don't even know if this is even appropriate to say, but 7:25 and we're ready to adjourn. Okay, this meeting is adjourned.